For the queen, sisters manifesting their dreams. Get your cream by any means and beam with self-esteem. Beauty supreme and booty walk so mean. The way you fit in them jeans, you eat your cornbread and greens. Dance or a doctor, red wine or vodka. Redesign your spot and redefine your mantra. Retwist your locks and realign your chakras. Doing your squats and getting closer to God, huh? Brunching with your squad or taking a girl's trip. Adjust your crown, you God's gift to the world, sis. Celestial body, drink your water. Meditate, sun kiss goddess, heavenly order. Levitate, tribe of Ashanti, black girl magic, melanin popping, whether you ratchet or lavish, whether you bougie or savage, you a gift and a treasure. You got to love a black girl getting a shift together. Black girls are getting a shift together. These black girls getting a shift together, man. These black girls are getting a shift together. These black girls getting a shift together, dog. When God made you, boo, you know he showed out. Mahogany enchantress, blessings overflow now. Picture of success, seductive silhouettes on a spiritual quest. Manifest and be blessed. Mother, sister, auntie, tribe of Ashanti. Rocking your locks, I got a close crop blondie. The curse and the gift, uplift, apply pressure. Nothing like a black girl getting a shift together. Nothing like a black girl getting a shift together. Nothing like a black girl getting a shift together. Black girls are getting a shift together. Black girls are getting a shift together, man. These black girls are getting a shift together, man. These black girls are getting a shift together.
Well, hello, and welcome to Black Girls Getting Their Shift Together. This is a podcast about everything mental health and wellness that supports our community. And each week I promise to deliver relevant topics and have beautiful guests like I have tonight. And then we can bring some topics that really resonate with us because it's very relatable. So be sure visit www.blackgirlsgettingtheirshifttogether.com. Also listen to the audio podcast on all streaming platforms. And while you're at it, feel free to give your girl a 5-star review because you're watching. I know you're watching. The analytics prove it. All right. We have one more month in season 3. One more month. And we're going to end on last couple of shows are going to be really fun and informative. So make sure and tune in. All right. We're going to get started right now. I just want to let you all know. I've been following this sister on her Instagram for a while. So I reached out and she said, yes. So I'm going to bring her on right now. And there she is. Hello, Dark Sugar Podcast.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm so happy and excited. I'm like trying to keep it. No, I'm so excited.
We both are. We really are. And not only was I excited for you to come on, but just the fact that we have all this melanin right here. We have a dark sugar podcaster, and we have a black girl getting her shift together podcaster. All this black on black on black on black. I love it.
Yeah.
And also what resonated with me is that we're in alignment because I'm about everything black and everything mental health and wellness advocacy. So, I see that in your Instagram. I'm like, yep, that's right, sis. That's right. But anyway, what are your thoughts on that as far as the Black community becoming a lot more in tune with mental health advocacy or issues that come up or generational trauma?
I think it's just so beautiful. And
Yeah,
it's one of the things that, I don't know, it really puts a spotlight for me on technology as a whole. Because for me, being a person being raised in Arizona, not being raised in a Black community, not going to a Black college, my only access to what's going on in our world was Instagram, was Twitter. So to me, it's a testament to how, you can preach about how we're not as tight as we want to be, but
right.
I see the progress. Even us just sitting talking right here is progress. And our
Mhm.
stories are individually and together and whatever. Like, so it's just beautiful. It's movement, it's energy, it's
Yeah.
what our ancestors wanted. It's just nice.
Isn't it beautiful?
Mhm.
So tell our listeners a little about you. What made you want to become a mental health advocate?
I wanted to become a mental health advocate because it's just a part of my daily ass life. It's like, it really is. It's like if I had, I don't know, like, for instance, I have eczema that comes and goes. I have regimens that I do. I have to take care of it. I have to tend to it.
Right.
When it comes down to it, sometimes I need to talk about it. And mental health is the same way. And I think I am starting to come to this moment where I'm realizing that I'm finally, and it's almost like I'm finally able to do for others what no one could do for like little Kiana at the time.
Oh my God.
And that's why I
Mm.
say like I just keep my shit simple. Like when I talk about my podcast, I'm like, it's just for us. Like this is just a platform for us. And like I really try to respond to like almost every comment when someone comments. I really try to, like, even if it's just like me saying a heart or validating and people DMing me, because I'm like, yeah, right here, this is like for us, because people don't know, like, I'm podcasting and I love people's response and I love this, but girl, sometimes it's for me. If I can't get a therapy session in, I'm like, whoop, where's my phone? Swear to God. And I'm just venting. Sometimes I'm literally just venting because I'm like, someone gets it somewhere. I know it.
I'm that person. I'm that someone,
And it's like,
which is
I
why
love,
we're right. This is why we're here tonight.
yeah,
I,
it's this. This is why.
and you're right. It's a good cushion for me in between. So I have my individual therapy, and then I have my group therapy, and then I have a few special friends that I hold very dear to me because um they keep on my ass and I learn about myself. But
Mhm.
and then I listen to your lives and read your posts, and it resonates. And just like I was telling you before we stream live, I was like, damn, we have lived parallel lives.
Crazy.
Yeah. But the funny thing is, it's not just you and I. A lot of us, we're so much in
Mhm.
alignment and we have no idea yet we don't know each other.
Right. Right. Yeah,
Man,
that's the beautiful thing. It just comes full circle.
it has. It really has. But it's beautiful. It's
Mhm.
beautiful. It's just like when we all get together as a force, we are amazing people.
Yeah, totally. I just love the conversation. Everyone's dissecting it in their own way. I have family members now. I'll send them little things or I'll post something and they'll be like, "Oh my God, I get that." Or we'll talk just a little, and maybe we won't go like all as far as I want to go, but like even over the summer, not to spill like family business, but even I was talking about empathy. I had just done the episode and I was at a family function talking about it, and at least I think three of my cousins was like, wait, yeah, I feel that, we need to do more of that, what you're talking about, that empathy thing. And I was
Right.
like, that wasn't that hard. And like we didn't have to go like super super deep into, like I didn't even go that deep with them, but that connection right there was just progress. Because sometimes it's not that we're dumb. It's not that we're not advanced. It's whatever. He just like literally didn't have the word. We just don't have
Mm,
resources. He just needed the word empathy. Oh, boom. Yeah, sis, we need more of that. Like,
mm.
wasn't that hard? I don't know.
Well, that at least you can have not to diminish it, but it's great you can have those conversations. I can't have any of that conversation with any shared DNA family.
I feel you. I understand that. And that, that's where you are the true black sheep. You are the true generation like curse breaker. And that is a lonely journey. So I
Yeah.
commend you because it's so
I'm gonna start crying.
no, I mean, no, if you want, sorry.
Not in a bad
It's,
way. It's just because you hit a chord because it's so true.
yeah,
It's so true.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so, I can only imagine because, I understand I do, I, yeah, because I do get the surface level, but even sometimes, even with the people that I really love, I know like, okay, I can never talk about it with that person. I can never talk about it with that person. And sometimes it's like that loose closure.
Oh, girl, you just don't even. Yes, I totally understand. Totally understand.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, let's get into tonight's topic. So, tonight's topic is it's about emotional abuse and things that we've learned after emotional abuse or the healing that's going on.
Yeah.
So, to talk about this, maybe we need to talk about some examples of what emotional abuse is, and then we can go into things we learned after we walk through that fire. So,
Totally.
what are some things that you would consider to be emotional abuse?
Well, the term that some people are saying is overused, and I'm like, no, it's not overused. The fact that we use it so much is a testament to how much we do it, is gaslighting. Um, and that's the biggest I feel like for me and for a lot of people, that's the biggest foundation of my experience with emotional abuse.
Mm.
And
Well, excuse me, what did it look? Can you explain to the
oh,
viewers what gaslighting is and what
yes.
it looked like to you? Or how did you experience it?
What it is denying someone's reality. And it can go as far as light being someone saying, oh, I'm so tired, I was up late last night doing a paper, like, ugh, terrible, like paper, terrible. And then the other person saying like, oh, that wasn't that bad, stop. You just
Yeah.
said it was bad and I just told you it wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
And then it can go to the extreme of someone doing something very, very terrible, you confronting them saying like, hey, you did these things, what do you have to say for them yourself? And the person saying, I don't remember doing that.
Oh my God.
So,
Yes.
and then it's like, where do you go? And it's even though yes, it is a defense mechanism, it's abusive.
It is.
So yeah, it's that parallel. Like, yes, it's a defense mechanism. You are trying to protect that person's trying to protect themselves because they just got caught. But that's abusive because you're just denying my reality. Now I'm confused. And now we have to start having unless I can grasp and be like, no, we remember things differently. I remember it like this. Let's focus on how I remember it. Or, or unless or otherwise you get stuck and now you're talking about something else. You're
Mm-hmm.
talking about the actual issue. So it can be really light as far as dismissing how someone how someone feels on some light shit to being really like pathological. Like, what do you mean you don't remember?
Right.
Like
You
how
know,
not? And I'm not gonna lie, people can speak about this. Family therapy was terrible. That's what happened in family therapy. Well, therapist, this is my experience. I don't remember that. Now I look like a liar in front of the therapist. Now we're having a whole now things are weird. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. Well, since you share, I'll share. Same thing during family therapy. I am telling my truth, but it didn't matter because it was so denied and it caused more frustration. And I remember thinking, you know what? This is probably after the third time. I said, you know what? I'm done. I am done. This no longer works
What's
for me.
the
It
point?
no longer serves me.
Right.
If I find most of my time defending myself during a therapy appointment,
Listen.
okay. Did that strike a nerve trigger? Was that triggering? It looks like it.
Yeah, because it's like me sharing my feelings should not end in an argument. Why are we arguing? I'm telling you how I feel. This shouldn't be an art. There really should be very little conversation, to be honest. More action than anything, especially if you're the one doing the shit. Why are we? Don't. Sorry.
Exactly. So that was a huge downfall. And I
Mhm.
said, well, you know what? That's it. I'm done. And that was a long time ago. And
Yeah.
then there was a gap. And I said, Ursula, you need to go for yourself
Mhm. Mhm.
to make sense of this because, oh, wait, on top of that, then the secondary gaslighting, that switch hadn't been turned on. And when it did, that just set me off over the edge. Have you ever experienced any kind of secondary gaslighting?
I'm not sure. What's your example of that?
So whatever you went through with whoever family member, and then you tell another family member, oh, they didn't mean that.
Oh yeah. Oh shit. Yeah, I hate when. No, no. And you know what? It's because and you know what? I've had really, really close friends do this to me. And it
Mm.
hit kind of harder, but it at the same time, what I realized was what I was saying was so heavy for them, their soul couldn't handle it, or they
Ooh,
couldn't extend any compassion for me because they couldn't give any compassion to themselves. So they had to just deny what I said.
that just punched me in my chest right
Yeah.
there.
So sometimes like it hurts and it's not okay, but it kind of helps knowing that it's not always personal because sometimes I've had direct situations where I'm like, "Oh, you were dealing with the same thing and that's why you said that to me."
Ooh,
Yeah.
ooh.
I was like, "Wait, you couldn't show compassion to me." And I'm like, "Oh, it's cuz you weren't showing any compassion for yourself. So how could you give it to me?"
I feel like I'm in a therapy session, right?
Good. Me too.
Yeah,
And I
that's
like,
where the healing comes in. May I read a comment? So your favorite pharmacist, you need to check out these YouTube channels I'm about to announce
"Oh
now.
yeah.
She's saying showing love. She'll try to be back. She's at work. And she also said, hey, young ladies. She also is a sister.
Yay.
Yes.
I love
And
it.
here's another sister, a blind guy, his wife, and their life. And she said, why is her family therapy reenactment like a comedy tragedy show? Because it's real and real sad at the same time.
Yo, I'm saying like, and I can laugh now because I've done a lot of healing and my mom and I've done a lot of healing together, but it was really like, no, sometimes I wanted a little TV to look in, like I was on the off. I'm like, somebody, please, like this cannot be just me. Like it, girl, I wish so bad. Really, that was like one of my little secret wishes. I wish we were on reality TV so someone could see it.
It's unreal. Okay, I'm going to tell you a story
Yeah.
that quote unquote never happened, but it really did. So when I was younger, uh, I remember being on the porch and they had these banisters, and a family member accused me of doing something. And I said, well, no, it wasn't me. And they went up to get ready to spank me. And I remember I turned my head and boom, my head hit the banister. So I'm young. I had an instant knot on my head, but because I'm young, I thought my brain popped out of my skull.
Oh.
And now I'm really freaking out because I
Uh-huh.
literally thought that it came out about that much from my
Yeah.
forehead.
Yeah.
And it was a knot. And so I brought it up. Oh, that didn't happen. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding me? I know, girl. I know. And then that ensued an argument. It didn't happen. Yes, it did. So
Mm-hmm.
sounds familiar.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
know.
It's a
I
it's
know.
a game that you can't win.
You really can't.
Yeah, the way you win is you can just not play. And it's so hard, especially if you have a hard time being seen and being heard like me. Like I have such a hard I over explain to the deaf sometimes. And so it's so hard for me to just be like, okay, I'm just gonna let you I'm just gonna let you think that. I'm just gonna like I just have to let you be in your reality. Like, okay,
Exactly.
that's so hard.
It is, but you see how it translates in adulthood with the people pleasing. I had Candy Washington on last week.
Hmm.
Amazing. It was so fun. It felt just like I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
And we both realized, well, we didn't realize, we realized together that we both share the same experiences with the over pleasing, the people pleaser, the over explaining, being shock absorbers for people, and sacrificing our own self just to keep the peace.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's that level of consciousness that you come into that you're in as well, that you're just like kind of looking back like, wait, what? It's like you were asleep.
Yes, exactly. It really is.
Yeah.
Not good. All right, let me pull up a graphic and
Perfect time.
here we go. These are not all signs. These are just some signs of emotional abuse in a relationship. And the relationship can go as far as parents, family members, other family members, work,
Mm.
a romantic relationship, and or friendship. So, what sticks out to you before we go into what we realize after some of these experiences?
Sorry, I'm like all of them. Okay.
Right.
The biggest one is probably sulks and refuses to talk about an issue.
Oh my God.
Let me try to breathe. Okay, it's because
I'm so triggered now.
it,
Go ahead.
that this is good for this is good. This is good. um I'm so sorry. Yeah, it's like hard to talk. That one because I have had someone use okay, no, let me stop. Let me take accountability.
I love it.
I made that an excuse for someone and thought they weren't understanding me.
Oh my God. It's the self-awareness for me.
I ex I instead of and then also I wasn't valuing my word or my time.
Can you explain that?
Because I did not have value, sorry, let me scratch those words. I did not have value of my feelings at all. Because now you shut down and don't want to talk like a 5-year-old, I'm going to give you maybe 24 hours. After that, I'm really over it because we need to speak.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I understand you're hiding behind a corner because you're scared because you're wrong
And embarrassed.
and embarrassed. But my time and my energy and how I feel is valuable, and the people I want in my life are people like, I understand a couple of hours you need your space or whatever, but to like shut down and shut me down and shut the conversation down just because you don't want to talk about it at the time because it's too much for you to handle the accountability of your actions.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, if I have a list this big, that's a red flag. First of all, I shouldn't have a list this long to present to anybody.
Exactly.
So it's just like this whole layer of accountability. Yeah, I was so pitiful. Oh, it was overwhelming. Literally. Oh, that was overwhelming for you. I'm sorry. Me expressing my feelings was overwhelming. I'm sorry. Oh, okay, we don't have to. Oh, okay, we don't have to talk about it later. We'll talk about it later. But then I'm also mad and I'm like not understanding why I'm upset.
Exactly.
So that was the biggest one because I was so understanding, like overly understanding
Mm-hmm.
and being hurt and like in denial about the hurt, thinking that, girl, I could go on and on, but that was the biggest one because I I made the such an excuse. Like, oh, okay, too much for you. Got it. Talk about it later. Or just
Uh-huh.
all.
It sounds like people pleasing. Again, I
Yep.
get it. So what sticks out to me is controls the finances and how you spend money.
Mm,
So now we're going into financial abuse.
no. That the stress.
Yeah. So what I saw were some family members, some came into town, and a parent wanted to go and have fun with their side of the family, and then another parent was like, "Oh, we don't have enough money in the account." So not everybody had to sit in the goddamn house because there was no money in the account. That's just controlling
Yeah.
all the pieces.
Yeah.
And you see,
Yep. 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 Yeah. Yeah. And man, that's one that I gotta unpack that because at one point, ooh,
I'm telling you.
I need to unpack that because there's a side of me that's like, being financially responsible, and I'm like, what? No, I'm like, no, that's being controlled.
I
Dang,
see. This
yeah,
is very triggering for both of us, but this is some good stuff.
this is good though. I know that's why we keep laughing, and I'm like shaking. No, but it's good. It's good because this is the whole point of the episode. It's the aftermath of you being like, wait, I did not know that was that, but now I do.
Right.
Or maybe in the moment you did feel like, I don't know. What did you know? Because me and my friend talked about this.
Mhm.
Sorry, not to just go super off topic,
Oh,
but
no, go ahead. I don't
um,
mind at all.
our different trauma responses. Like, so for example, a lot of now I've seen a passive narcissist. They're kind of rare to me, but I've seen one. But most narcissists are very like out, and their trauma response is usually like fight or flight.
Right,
Mine
right.
is like fawn totally and freeze. So I go in. So I have a friend that we also have like very parallel lives with our moms, both single moms and whatever. And she did the fight thing where she knew something was wrong and she was like, I don't have the words to say what's wrong because I'm too young and I just don't know, but something's not right. And so she had this like anger in her. And I was like, oh, I didn't really have because I don't really reach for anger that much. And it's because that I realized, I put it together, that part of me, I've been conditioned not to get angry.
Yes.
So that
Ooh.
has been like kind of squashed. So because to be angry, you have to care. I'm sorry, but I didn't really care about myself. So
Girl.
I was not angry. She said. I wasn't angry. So did you know that were you like that's not right or were you like okay, cuz either one is
Well, when it happened I came on the tail end of it. So when I walked in the house, I didn't think anyone was going to be there. And I was like, what the hell is going on? Why is everyone here? And then a family member told me, a cousin told me, I said, what? I wanted to wreck the place. That's how pissed off I was. But my natural trauma response is similar to yours. However, where the flipping the tables and, just letting it out is because I held it in so long. And it was truly like having a bottle of Coke and you're going to shake it for 15 years. What do you think is going to happen when you open that cap? And that's what it looked like. But this was before I started therapy. So I never even knew there was something called financial abuse. I had no idea.
Gotcha.
Right. I knew it was manipulative.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I didn't have that language. But I always knew something wasn't right.
Right. Yeah. You knew something was off. Yeah.
And when I have expressed it, there goes you don't know what you're talking about. Go to your room, be quiet. Children are seen and not heard. Well, guess what I did? I wasn't showing anything and I didn't talk. And that's what it looked like and presented itself as an adult.
Yeah. Yep.
Until I still have my buttons pressed over and over and I don't say anything. It's just like a water barrel and the water just drips. It can take 15, 20 years, but that last drop and then all the water comes out. And that's been my life.
Yeah.
Not anymore. I'm working on it because now no, when I say no is my favorite word because I never had boundaries growing up. They were all disrespected and violated. Oh, may I read a comment?
Go ahead, girl.
All right. So Blind Guy and his wife said, financial abuse is interesting because how is it proven? Most people don't ask to check balances. And that family member did not check. They were just like, oh, okay, there's no money in the account.
Right.
Okay, well, let's go sit on the couch and watch Maury. The hell? I know, dark sugar. I know.
Share another parallel, and then this is how you're gonna.
Let's hear
now, it's like we're cut. You and I are like my friend. We're cut from the same cloth, and we're like parallel but different.
Right.
So,
explain.
In my experience, so you're familiar with post-traumatic slave syndrome?
Yes, with Dr. Joyce. Honey, if I could get that sister on this show, I hit the mother load.
Right? So, my mom has that, like, straight up. And my mom's family is from Hearn, Texas. They're a sharecropping family. My mom's one of 14 kids. So she, like, really, really has it. And I remember growing up. Now, I'm not saying, okay, so maybe there was a moment growing up where we were really, really struggling. But then there was a long period where we weren't, and I thought we were. And my mom, and it's because my mom had so much anxiety and she had a scarcity mindset because of her trauma that she went through, that she was always in a state of doom and scarcity, even if she had. Because if you're going through, like, a lot of Holocaust survivors who has kids, their kids report the same symptoms of their parents.
Right.
Like, and it's because if you go through life where you could die any second, we need this. No, we need this. I remember finally when I was older and I saw a little Bank of America, boop, and I look and I'm like, wait, what? I'm like, wait, and I had to and I remember taking that God was working on me that day because I could have gone to anger, but instead I was like, what makes you so scared when you do have, when we are actually okay. And now, like, I'll still catch her
Ooh.
doing it sometimes, but she's gotten way better.
Right.
But, you know, technically that was abuse.
Oh,
But she didn't even know because she literally was so scared. And it was
oh,
presenting differently.
yeah. Oh my God. You're really firing off some triggers for me right now. I just had a light bulb moment when you were talking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She was so scared.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? And even now, like, even, you know, thank God, you know, my mom's very healthy, but like, even when she went for her mammogram exam, she was so scared before she went. Scared.
Really?
Comparatively to maybe like a person from the 1930s or so. Not that my mom's that old, but
Right.
like almost like you've been to the doctor, right? Like you've been almost like a person coming from a different time era, really scared to go to the doctor. And she's like,
Mm.
something's gonna. I'm like, but nothing's there. I'm pretty sure you're good. Like every single one has been fine. And then she gets it back. She's fine. Oh, thank Lord, because I was so worried. And I'm like, you were genuinely worried. I was looking at her like you were like she actually thought she had C.
Really?
Dead ass.
Wow.
Like very, very, very scared. I understand the fear, but I'm like, you were just getting a little like you had no reason. There was no reason.
Mm.
There was no reason. And
Mm-hmm.
growing up, sometimes, yeah, like I understand the paycheck to paycheck life, but I can get a new shirt. I can get some new shoes.
Right.
We can, I can go to the doctor because some things were like necessity to, some things weren't necessity to her that actually were.
That's
And
interesting.
because of her her scarcity, that just was another layer of my people pleasing of me not taking care of myself.
Wow. The
Yeah,
self-awareness.
yeah.
That's
I'm
amazing.
like double learning. I'm like actually learning how to take care of myself.
Mhm.
And I'm like also people pleasing. Like I gotta turn inward anyway. So naturally even more, but no, like literally learning how to take care of myself. And my mom's mom didn't teach her.
Of course not. Of course not.
So it was like,
I know. Well, we've both been to therapy. We
mhm,
both have done some self work. We both are, the healing still continues with us,
yeah,
which is a beautiful thing. So
totally.
I believe we have different lenses
Mhm,
now. You know,
yeah.
our vision has cleared up some. We've walked through the fire. So
Mhm,
now we're on the other side of this fire pit. So let's talk about some things that we realized after emotional abuse. I'm going to put up an infographic again.
totally.
All right. Let's go in order.
Okay.
So this is an audio podcast. So what I'm reading, listeners, this is an infographic that says realizations after emotional abuse.
Mhm.
So the first one, and I got this from Dark Sugar Podcast on her Instagram. So be sure to follow her on her Instagram. There I am.
Oh
Other
wait.
way.
Yeah, there we go. I'm like, what?
All right. So, realizations. Number one, you were not able to think clearly while you were in the toxic situation. How does that resonate with you?
It resonates with me because I've done a lot of research on the psychology and biology side of the effects of trauma on the brain. And I think
Mm,
one of the biggest ways I've been able to give myself grace is, and I don't know I don't know the anatomy terms and I get them confused. So I'm not even gonna try to, it's like the amygdala and the hippocampus, or whatever. And I can't remember which one's which. I don't know if you know.
I think I think the amygdala, I can't even say amygdala is is it the anger response?
See, I don't know. That's why it's like it's like so. I need to get my terms straight while I'm trying to speak on it. But it's like whatever part of your brain that thinks critically and the part that does the trauma response.
Mhm.
When you're having a trauma response, the critical part is shut down. so that you're having a trauma response. So when you're having a trauma response, you cannot think critically. Literally, you cannot think critically. So when people are in a traumatic situation and people not in that situation are looking at it like, what is that person doing? They're not thinking straight. Yeah, no,
They're not.
they actually are not. They actually can't.
Isn't it called is it the amygdala hijack? Have you heard of
Oh,
that?
yes.
That's it.
Yes. So, and another thing, when you're constantly in that state of stress, you probably need sleep. And let me tell you, first of all, I'm a Pisces, so I love to sleep naturally. Second, I sleep way less now that I'm out of my trauma storm, girl. Now that I'm not having those toxic people in my life, within a week, I noticed I needed less naps. I
Really?
used to take 2 naps a day, 3 naps a day if I could. I had so much, my brain could not process. I was constantly being triggered, constantly in freeze, fawn, freezing. I could not even think. When I look at my journals from a year ago, there will be little sections where I'll say, this is a lot for me. I really need to let this go. And then I'll just continue. And I'm like, oh my God, I knew. I'll have little hints where I'm like, this is really hard for me. I can't take this anymore. I don't like being treated like this. I'm like, I'm literally saying that I
Wow.
don't like it within my journal as I'm continuing. I couldn't think clear enough to make an active decision. It wasn't until I started removing myself from the situation I was able to think more clearly. So when the people wanted to come back, I was like, actually, I've had some clarity. And because I could not think. I could not think. So I really was able to stop beating myself up, because my first stage was I was beating myself up. I'm so dumb. I can't believe you let people treat you like that. How could you do that? You didn't say anything. But then I'm like, you couldn't think.
You really can't. I am obsessed with this. Her name is Dr. Caroline Leaf,
Mm-hmm.
and she talks about the neuroplasticity of the brain and how it literally, like you just said, it literally changes.
Literally.
So she talks about these, I think 60-day or 69-day cycle where you literally retrain your brain because there is the plasticity. So it can change. And I'm obsessed listening to her because, I only know what I know.
Right.
So I started listening to her and literally like a floodgate opened. And I loved it because then I learned to have grace on myself. Like, you know what? I wasn't going nuts. This makes sense why I was sleeping so much, because I would literally shut down. It felt like I took Benadryl.
I'm saying I would knock out, and now I can't even take naps like that anymore. I still love to nap, but I don't even nap like that anymore. And I'm like, and I was even this happened maybe like February. I kind of stopped taking naps, and I was just like, why do I need less sleep? Well, bitch, you can think more clearly. Because think about it, newborn babies, that's the reason why they sleep so much. If they're up more than 2 hours, they get cranky because they need a nap. Their brains
Right.
exhausted, too much information. Me too. Us too.
That part. Married another comment from Blind Guy, his wife, and their life. You need to check out their podcast. Let me tell you, off topic for a minute. She's a sister too, and he is. And listening to them, it's literally like a talk show.
Yeah.
But it's the melanin for me. And I hate, it literally is like a talk show. It's like a midday talk show, but because I'm at work, I can't that's when they come on. Anyways, I just love looking at all the brothers and sisters. We're just doing it. And, we get the same content with people that look like us, but you need to check them out. But she said, I thought we all have post-traumatic slave syndrome. And I'm convinced we are giving fear of C19. I need to check for other people's fears. Explain that second part for me.
I think they're saying like we have more fears connected to our trauma, probably. Like we need to see like what else we're scared of. I think that's what they mean. I think.
That makes sense. That makes sense when you say it like that. And we all do. I believe we all have that. In some ways, it looks different.
Yeah.
And the only reason why I say this
It,
because
mm-hmm.
last season I had on this psychotherapist Linton Hester, and
Mm-hmm.
he went into generational trauma. Oh, I just reposted it Monday. You should check it out. When I say this brother was speaking the truth and how it shows up in different ways.
Yeah, I think my favorite, well, not my favorite ways, but the ways that I'm just like, oh my God, I'm sure a lot of Black people have people like this in their family. The really like uppity Black person that like isn't Black and they're like, oh, I'm not like those Black person. That's like the pinnacle of self-hatred. Like that's a trauma response. They're in denial.
Oh, huge denial.
Or
Huge.
like the really, yeah, and like they said, the fear of COVID and the vaccine. It's I've never like spoken publicly about it, but yeah, definitely. Like I've talked about how we need to give Black people grace, people that are like making fun of people that are scared of it. And I'm like, that's well, I mean, like, think about all, like, first of all, I'm surprised I'm not scared of it. All the experience I've had at the doctor's office. I haven't even talked
Mm,
about it, but like the way they treat us at the doctor's office, the way our women die in childbirth, the way our numbers are up for cervical cancer when that's
mm.
sources and not the fact that we're more biologically susceptible. Like, yeah, I'd be scared of a vaccine too.
It is a trauma response.
Yeah, so
It's
yeah,
something else.
we have a lot of our behaviors are trauma responses.
Agreed. All right, number 2 of realizations after emotional abuse.
Mm-hmm.
You have sacrificed a part of yourself for someone or something else to survive.
Right. So
Ah,
that one's like a twofold.
explain.
I feel like it's a twofold because it's like, for me, on the one hand, I realized I sacrificed a part of myself. The second part is the survival thing, because let me tell you, the relationships that I've been in that I've recently broken away from, I
Mm-hmm.
can tell you that when I did break away, yes, I thought I was going to die. That is how I felt.
Mm,
Someone could describe it. I literally felt like I was going to die. When I get in fights with people that I love or when I have to set really strict boundaries,
mm-hmm.
I feel doom, like I'm going to die. And
Yeah.
me feeling that, I know that's my brain really going through something. My brain, that me detaching, my brain
Mm-hmm.
freaking out. I actually am that scared. My brain is actually like, that's some real thing. That's how much energy I put into that person or thing. That's how much that's how much power I put into that person or that situation. I thought I was going to die
Mm.
out them. And then to come out on the other side, be like, you're not dead. Well, you're good. I'm like, but I felt like I was gonna die though. Like I had to be really honest with myself and tell myself I'm not being dramatic. That is a really common complex trauma response of feeling like you're gonna die when you're in conflict where it's like, why do I feel this really big response to this person or this thing? And it's like, well, so that was such a big one for me.
It is huge. And see, Dr. Leaf talked about that too,
Hmm.
on how the neurons in the brain. See, of course, I'm not a doctor like she is, but she again starts talking about the neuroplasticity of the brain and what trauma can do to it. And you literally cannot see or even hear some of the things that you say. You're literally, it's like having an out of body experience. You cannot
Yeah,
recognize yourself,
right.
and other people can see things in you that you don't even see in yourself.
Yeah, yeah, that part.
Right. And, that's for my opinion. And that's why therapy is important. It's so helpful because it helps you discover that blind self.
Yeah.
But
And
yeah.
oh yeah, sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead, sis.
And it really, I was thinking about this the other day. It just came to me, but I was thinking about animals. I'm always really fascinated with the animal channel, and animals that are, I don't know what you call them, but are like their brains are less complex or whatever,
Right.
where they're
Mhm.
just like strictly on instinct. Like they just, okay, winter, lay my eggs. Spring, I'm out. Boom, boom, boom. I do this. And it's so like instinct. And like, yes, as humans, we do have a lot of will, but at our base is patterns. And we
Mhm.
really need to be aware of the patterns that we had in our childhood. Because let me tell you, if you would have told me that I was dating my dad or dating my mom, I would have told you to go F yourself. That's
I just said this on another pot. Oh my God.
this. I just connected the dots this year and I was pissed. Pissed. I'm like, not me. I'm really aware. I don't do that. No, I don't do that. The other people have daddy issues. I don't have daddy issues. I understand my dad. Like, and I have hella trauma with my dad. So I don't know why I thought I didn't have daddy issues. But I was like, no, I can conceptualize the trauma, so I get it. So
Girl, I'm telling you, this is a real thing. I'm gonna read. It's so funny. Matter of fact, Tashara Talks and Dope Discussions with Erica podcast, we also have a talk show together. And it's called Talking Dope Shift.
oh
So
nice.
all the listeners, when I upload the audio, make sure and go on Instagram and go to any three of our platforms on Instagram and we stream from it. But it's so funny you talked about how you felt after a breakup because I was thinking about Erica and here she pops up. She said abandonment issues multiplied by 10. I felt like I was going to die after a breakup.
The re-
It's real.
no exaggeration. Like I was going to die, and to get through that night, Jesus himself and whoever else was with me. I'm telling you, because those nights were rough. I was like, am I gonna make
Right.
it? Was, and not even like by me doing anything. I'm like, is my body gonna make it? Like,
It's a real thing. And Erica had mentioned that Sunday night when we streamed on her
yeah.
platform. And she was saying how she knew something was wrong when every breakup felt like a death. It was just too much. I know, girl.
Can I tell you something?
What?
I've went as far. Now this is how I know, and I'm getting chills. This is how I know I had an issue. And I can't say which one, but
Don't.
an ex, when we
Mm-hmm.
broke up, I had flashes of them in a casket.
Oh, shit.
Like just daydreams. But it didn't feel like they were really gonna die. I'm like, why do I keep thinking of them? Like, and I'm like, bitch, it's because that's how you feel. You feel like they died. I was
Wow.
how you actually feel. And I was like, why do I keep thinking that? And I'm like, oh my God. And I even had a friend go, oh, that situation kind of it's almost like they cheated on you. And I said, no, it's like they died. I said, no, it's like they died. And she was like, what? And I was like, not like they cheated because they didn't cheat. It's like they died. And she was just like, huh? And I did not know
Oh
how
my
to
God.
could not explain it to her. But I had flashes in my head. I'm like, why do I keep having these weird visions of this person? Yeah, girl.
Yeah, I had active visions. They weren't good. Yeah. Yeah. I don't want to say online. Yeah.
No worries. No worries.
But the ladies know, they know me. So Tashura Talks, she said breakups were not good for me. I get it. And I resonate with her words. So true. And she said, but the funny thing is I was never in a relationship according to them.
That part, that's how that's, and see, that goes back to energy, all that. It's really like the death of your energy that you put in.
Exactly. All that time invested for nah. and dope discussions with Erica, I thought I was girl, I thought I was having a heart attack after one of my breakups, she said.
That's what I meant when I said I did not think my body was gonna make it. I literally thought my body was gonna shut down, girl. Shut down. I'm not gonna lie. If I wouldn't have connected the dots, I would have gone to the hospital.
See?
I really thought something was wrong.
And some people really do not believe that the body keeps the score with trauma. Ma'am.
It do. You can't tell me no. Yeah, that's no. Yeah.
So in that book, The Body Keeps the Score, I forgot the author's name. Is it Vanderkolk or Bessel? Bessel with the
I'm not
B.
good with names. I have no idea.
But I know for sure the name of the book is The Body Keeps the Score.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a man, and he was saying that he would get sick every time he ate it. It's not Olive Garden. I'm just using that as an example for anybody listening. It's an example, Olive Garden. He would go to Olive Garden and he would become violently ill. And he couldn't understand why, because he ate there with his family as a child. But as an adult, he just could not eat it at all. So he went into therapy for something else. And then somehow this came up with the GI issues, and it was always triggered by the Olive Garden dinners he would have. Well, come to find out, doing some inner child work, that Olive Garden restaurant, that's where his parents told him as a child that they were going to have a divorce. They were getting a divorce. So he held it all in.
Yeah.
He swallowed it, and it manifested itself as an adult. And boom, there you go. And once he connected those dots, he ate at Olive Garden and he was not violently ill. He could eat his food in peace because he let it out.
Wow. Yep. Yeah, that's your body trying to protect you. Your body is beautiful. It's really just trying to protect us.
And Tashura Talks said, heartbreak is real. And she also said, I ended up with a broke. Oh, I didn't know this. I ended up with a broken heart syndrome, which is called cardiomyopathy.
Myopathy. Huh. Is that like some sort of arrhythmia?
So Tashura, if you're on, can you answer that? Is that some kind of heart arrhythmia? And while we wait on her response, Erica said to Tashura, the brain registers emotional pain the same as physical pain. Exactly. That's it.
I always gotta remember that. Yeah.
Facts. Yeah. All right, let's move on. I feel like I'm having group therapy. This is how it feels when I have group therapy.
Oh, awesome. Have I done group therapy? I don't think I have.
Oh my God, you're doing it now. If you imagine 4 or 5 other sisters facilitated by sisters, women of color, it's a beautiful thing.
That's amazing.
I love going. All right, so this next one is no one can meet your needs 100%.
Oh.
I didn't get that one. You may have to help me on that one. Help me on that one. I'm sure you will.
Let me help you, sis. Okay, so this one's a deep one because I realized this one when I went through, I had like a spiritual awakening / like personality death at the beginning of this year when I realized a lot of things that I was previously that was subconscious came into my conscious awareness. One thing was, okay, there's a lot of layers to this. So what I was doing, so this is an accountability thing.
Okay.
So what was happening was, in order to prove my worth to somebody, they have to already not think I'm worthy. So I was getting in relationships with people that already weren't fucking with me. And then doing a little dance trying to make them. And what I was also doing to try to prove that I am worth you giving me what I want, which is love. Basically, I was doing a production of me and my dad circa 1998. And so what I was trying to do is like, hey, dad, I'm really lovable, so please stay. And I'll do whatever you want and be however lovable I can be to stay. And as that goes into adulthood, no one can give me the love that I first need to give myself, first of all. So I'm
Got
like,
it.
skirt, you need to stop coming to people that can't do it to begin with. And then blaming them for not being able to do it when they couldn't in the first place and actually probably told you they couldn't and you didn't believe them.
Yo, because we put that red flag over these glasses.
Right.
And no, I'm gonna love him enough. I'm gonna fuck him good enough. I'm gonna cook for him good enough.
Right.
I'm gonna be everything for him. Meanwhile, we're walking through life navigating the second best version of somebody else.
Right. Yeah. It was really an accountability thing. I was like, no one can meet even in a healthy relationship, no one can meet your needs 100%. I had this very traumatic perfection lens over myself of everything needs to be perfect. No fighting, no nothing, no arguing, no like
Really?
that's not real. That's not realistic. That's not even healthy relationships don't even look like that.
Absolutely.
So for me to think a perfect relationship is that person being my everything and me being their everything, because I had to realize not only did I want them to be my everything, I thought that I was theirs. I thought that I was that powerful to change them. I'm powerful, but I can't do all that.
Right. We should put that into ourselves. Go within.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna post this, and I 100% million agree with this post. Erica said, Dark Sugar Podcast puts out some great content on her Instagram page. I told you.
Hey, you.
Yeah, your content is amazing. And Tashura says, been there. I call that auditioning for a part that isn't available.
Oh, oh, oh.
All right, now Tashura dropped it on that one.
Drama that isn't even available, girl. I'm singing and dancing. I'm on number 5. We ain't had no intermission. I'm like, let's go.
Encore, about 5 encores were coming out. Yeah, that was very triggering for me. Okay. But she's telling the truth. She's telling the truth.
So true. Like you weren't even. That was a huge check for myself. Big check. Why am I picking these people? What am I doing?
We can't blame them if we keep going back for it. It's within. All right, here we go. Let's see. We're coming to the end. Number 4, our relationships with our caregivers between ages 1 through 7 affects us more than we realize. Now, this one I understood 1,000,000%.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And that's the general one because, and even as I get older, like I'm 26 right now, I'm telling you, probably
Are you?
Yeah.
Oh
and
my God. I'm so impressed. I was not like that at 26.
Thank you. I know that's what my mom said. I was like, you're so ahead. I'm like, am I?
Oh, ma'am. Yes.
Thank you.
I am so impressed.
Thank you.
It's the self-awareness for me.
I really appreciate it. No, I'm telling you, it was like within a week earlier this year. But yeah, probably last year, if we would have talked about this, I would have been like, yeah, I know exactly how I was affected. And I can tell you confidently all the reasons why. Now I'm like, I have a couple of reasons, but in 5 years, I'll probably have way more because as the years pass, things are unraveling. Like 10 years ago, I thought 1 to 5, I had a great childhood. Was my dad there? No. But it was just me and my mom in LA, and we were like rocking out. Girl, yes, there were some good moments, and those moments added to my foundation, but so did the bad ones. And I have to take that into accountability because The parallel is, you can ask anybody in my family, especially my sister. When I was younger, I would hysterically cry when I was away from my mom.
Really?
Yes, but you know what I do now when I'm away from the person that I'm in a relationship with?
Right.
I don't know what to do with myself. And when we get together and when we go on dates and then I leave, I hysterically cry if I'm stressed. Like
Uh-huh.
maybe leaving my mom.
I just had an aha moment. Ooh.
So
Mm-hmm.
you can't. So
Ooh.
if you would have told me that parallel would have come into, like, I wasn't expecting that. And I just got that parallel within like the last month.
Erica said, congratulations. I didn't get my epiphany until 40.
But congratulations at the 40, because it's just like, as long as we do it, yo, like, as long as we wake up at one point, because I was on autopilot. I was
Yeah.
going. I was going.
Oh, man. Yeah. Okay, here we go. The last one. Let me fix this.
Mm,
I got a lot going on these graphics.
no,
Oh, here it is. I know, right? All right. Here it is. And we still can't see it.
I know what it is though.
What is it? Tell us.
Abuse is addictive.
Yes, that was it.
I don't like this one.
I don't
This
either.
is probably my least favorite realization because
Because,
I realized, and this, I saw this post about narcissism, or I think it was about toxic people in general, maybe narcissist, whatever. But it said, you know, you're with a toxic person when they're with you and you're miserable, and then when they're not with you, you're miserable. And
oh,
oh my God, because I cannot tell you, I, in a lot of my toxic relationships, when I was with that person,
mhm.
I'd be so, especially the narcissistic relationships where they're sucking your energy, I'd be so miserable. Please leave me alone. Oh my God, I hate you. Why am I doing this? I'm snapping. I'm constantly on the defense. I'm freezing. I'm thinking to myself, I really don't like that. But when that person leaves, I have this like
Mm.
itch where I want them to contact me. And I was like, what do
Just
I
like a drug addict, we get
yeah,
that itch. We
yeah. I
want
was
that
like,
hit.
why do I want them to call me? And I literally, I'm like, wait, but I don't like them. But wait, and I remember I was so aware, like, what is happening? I don't like them, but I want them to call me. And and that's when I was like, hold up. I was
Mm.
like, something's wrong. And I have no other, I can't even go deeper than that because I didn't like it. It's not that deep. I didn't like it, but my brain did, or whatever. I did not like it. I'm so defensive right now. I didn't like it.
You even sat back. I don't like it. I don't.
I'm so defensive. I mean, I did. Okay, let me calm down. It was serving a purpose because me being overly involved in that person's life and being a servant type, I thought
Right.
gaining importance by being like, by being a doormat. I felt, oh, I'm being stepped on a lot, so I must be liked like a lot. That's essentially what I was telling myself. People
Wow.
are communicating with me a lot. It didn't really matter how. It was just value to me. I'm important because this person like needs me. When it's like, yeah, bitch, they're using you. They need somebody. It just happens to be you.
That supply.
Yeah. So I really had to, it was, yeah, that person's abusing me, but at the same time, I was getting something. I'm important. You need me all the time, it seems.
Right. And it goes back to that people pleasing because
Yeah.
we more than likely we positioned ourselves to be in that need of want or they need us. Well, yeah, we positioned ourselves. So why wouldn't they? It was a
Right. Right.
perfect toxic cocktail.
Right.
They need a supply and I'm gonna be the
Oh,
doormat.
it's available 24/7.
Yeah, what you need, babe? I got you. What? Sit down.
Now the do not disturb button, I get it.
Right,
Get it.
right.
Back in the day, no, I thought it was offensive. I'd be like, no, I literally can remember saying like, oh, like in case someone needs me, I never turn my phone off. What if someone needs me? I remember being like that. Oh, do not disturb. What if someone needs me? They can leave a message.
I am so. This is one of the most triggering. This actually is the most triggering podcast I have done. I'm
I'm
in a
so
good emotional, I'm in a better emotional state. So I have tools to work through this. But let me tell you, anybody on the audio podcast, when I finally drop the episode, you're gonna hear or not hear us talk because we both are having these light bulb trigger moments and we're staring at each other or pointing our fingers like, girl, yes. That's what that is. All those silent, silent moments, the blocks of silence, that's the trigger moments. I cannot believe like this really is the most ever. But I'm glad to have shared it with you.
yeah. I'm sorry.
And this is even funnier. Blind guy and his wife. She says, I'm cracking up every time you two peep around that infographic. Hey, Keita, this is for you. 1, 2, 3.
Make it work.
Oh, man. Quick question. What made you? I know we talked about everything here, but what made you go into therapy, individual therapy?
Sorry, I'm like really thinking, huh?
I told you because this is a triggering podcast. Take your time.
I think okay, so trigger warning for suicide right here.
Unalived. Unalived. We'll say that.
Huh?
Instead of saying the S word, we'll say
Oh, sorry.
unalived. That's okay.
Unalived. That's a new
Uh-huh.
okay, unalived. Um I made an attempt in
Mm.
7th grade.
Okay.
And that was my first time going to the behavioral center, with my first time talking to somebody.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
And from there, my mom had experience in therapy, and she had gone herself for many, many years,
Oh,
even in her
really?
midst of everything. So it was kind of a beautiful thing. Like, even though we were really going through it, and she kind of knew what to do.
That's amazing.
Yeah, because I was
Wow.
in therapy in middle school. I had a counselor in high school. I had the same therapist all 4 years of college.
Mm.
And I've like always been in therapy off and on, now that I
Right.
think about it. Yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So well, then that makes sense. You've already had a taste of it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it wasn't foreign to you.
Right. I'm just like, oh yeah, I guess not. Because I'm like, wait, when is the first time? I'm like, hold up, let me go all the way back. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. I'm impressed with your mom too.
Yeah, she majored in psychology, and when
Mm.
a lot of things, when she was in her early 20s, like when her and a lot of siblings started displaying the effects of what they went through,
Right.
she was kind of looking around like, okay, so I'm assuming something's about to happen to me. So, and that's literally what she said. And she majored in psychology and was kind of always in therapy.
Wow.
Yeah, about 4 years ago, her last like block of therapy, she did 6 months of dialectical behavioral therapy.
She did DBT, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm laughing because she was just so cute during that
Was
time.
she how? If you don't mind, you
She
you
would
can only
just
share what you want to.
she would just come home and say like she would just come home and be like, oh my god, I had the best session, like you won't believe what I learned. And I'm like, yeah. And she'd be like, so people are allowed to have their own opinions. And I would be like, yes, mom, I'm really glad you now understand that. So I could really see like, oh, okay, I'm really glad this is helping, but she really did not know.
Oh, you know what? I think I remember this from one of your lives, which was so interesting.
She really
I
didn't
remember
know.
that.
She, like, to her core, did not know. There were so many other things, and she's gotten, a lot better. And she still has her, quirks, but her 180 healing is amazing. But to really see her go through that process, like, there were a lot of things that were very obvious to me that were not obvious to her. And I was just like, okay, like this is how your brain really worked. Like it was just a testament to the brain. Like that's how her brain really worked. Black, white, split this, like yes, no. Like that's why that was the base of a lot of our issues.
And see, that's why I believe it's hard for people like us where we see fuchsia and pink and green and orange. It's never just black or white. So it's hard. It's very challenging
Yeah.
to be so linear.
Yeah. It's literally I'm not gonna lie, it is a trigger for me to this day. Like when people and it won't even be in it'll be in like a realistic setting, but if someone does something split, like if someone splits or does something similar, I'll freeze for a second and I'll like feel myself not being able to think for a couple of seconds because I'm like, you just did this and life's
Right.
not like this. And I'm like, wait, Kiana, gather yourself, hold on, but I still do it
So
even.
this is interesting because I know you've been in therapy for so long. What I don't want to ask that,
Yeah, you
but
can.
what? Yeah, I do. What what tools do you use to snap yourself, like you said, get myself back on track to be untriggered?
Well, first of all, this is really funny because I know what you mean by your question, but I asked my therapist a similar question and she said, first of all, don't be in triggering situations. Well, but and second, honestly, I think it's the time of breathing, sitting with myself over time, recognizing that will the symptoms 100% go away? Probably
Mm,
not. If so, like praise God, awesome, but like
mhm.
probably not. And especially and if not, it's not going to be soon. Like I remember her freshman year of college, my therapist telling her, "Yo, my freeze time is like weeks. Something will bother me and I'll come back weeks later being like, so after some careful thought, that thing that you said on February 16th, 2015 at 2:15 p.m. really hurt my feelings and I would like to now discuss it." And people were like,
What the
it would be, and I know that's like a big exaggeration, but it would be like that. And people would be like,
right?
oh, and it's because like my freeze time was crazy. And I remember telling my therapist, like, how do we like what the hell? And she was like, we're gonna cut your freeze down time. We're gonna cut it down over a couple of years. But she's like, it will take years. She's like, it'll go down and you'll get better. But she's like, it will take years. And I was kind of like, oh, okay. So it's a combination of meditation,
Yes.
being alone, not being around other people's energy so much.
Right, right.
You'll know what the more you sit with yourself and feel your own energy and are comfortable with your own energy and then compare it to how you feel with people, over time you'll know what to say. You'll
Mm,
figure out what to do. Just like naturally. Um but to really be honest, taking myself completely out of the triggering situation, however
mhm.
that looks, was the biggest thing. And just fun, like my tools are what I do every day. And it's like getting
Mhm.
sick. Like you can take your elderberry and do your sea moss and whatever. Could you still get a cold? Yeah, but hey, that cold won't be as bad. Will you get a cold? Maybe, yeah. But your symptoms won't be that bad. So it's the
Like the
same.
vaccination.
Yeah, yes. And so it's like the same for me. Like, will I be symptom free? Maybe not, but over
Mhm.
time shit won't feel as bad and it won't.
Exactly. Mm, I love that.
Yeah.
It's good to have an emotional toolbox.
Right. But really, the biggest thing was take yourself away because she said you can have all the tools in the world, but if you are still with that toxic person, it doesn't matter. You can have all the boundaries in the world, but if that person doesn't respect them, it doesn't matter. So I had to gather my tools, pick them up, and move. Like, yeah, I have my tools, but she's like, you need to move. Which
Hmm.
I was like, okay, I'm ready now. And she's like, that's not how that works. And I was
So
uh,
for the audio people,
sorry, I'm so
no Dark Sugar podcast. She's like in a boxing match. Like I'm ready to go.
I'm with that one too. And she was like, that's not how you do it. I was like, how do I be less triggered? And she's like, stop being in situations where you're triggered. And I'm like,
Oh, you're so cute. I swear to God.
I know my faces, but it's like
I love
seriously,
it.
I had to connect the dots and really be like, oh, because that was also me putting so much blame on myself, thinking if I'm just more defensive, that person will straighten up. And she's like, no, no, and I was like, oh, okay.
We have a comment. She's cute too. She said freeze time is serious. Wow. My apologies for typos and crazy comments tonight. Oh no, they were not crazy at all. You're always informative, blind guy and his wife. She's like, I called myself talking, talking in the
You're fine.
phone while driving, but Google was playing.
All good.
Google wasn't letting her be great, but we know how great she is.
I love it.
I started shadow work. I have a shadow work coach. And I know, girl, the eyeballs. I just like everyone on the audio Dark Sugar podcast eyeballs literally just popped out of her head. Yes. So I'm finding out more about myself. I know trigger session, but do you know after our first session? No, I think the second one, I learned same thing like you, to grab my toolbox and go. But what I was tethered to was the strands of DNA. And
That's always the hardest.
very much so. But the way he broke it down, oh, I had him on about 3 weeks ago. You should go back and look at it. Oh
Yeah.
my God. And he I agree with what he was saying because it is some people are not healthy for you. No matter how many tools you have, you're right. You have to take yourself out of those situations.
Right.
So
That was the thing.
yeah. But it's either that or stay in unhealthy relationships. Like that is not good for you. It just no longer serves me.
Mm-hmm.
Us,
Mm-hmm.
other folks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
even that person, because I realized another layer. A lot of the time, that person may not know it, but this back and forth that we're doing, it's hurting them too.
why do you say that?
Um, because a lot of times the toxic situation, well, it depends on how the toxic situation is displayed, but if you're in like a push and pull
Mm-hmm.
where that person keeps coming back, continuously not being able to give you what you are asking for or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
they're also hurting themselves. Like,
Mm.
that's also toxic. That's also traumatic. You, it's not like you're walking away and saying, you know what, I don't have the skills to do this. I'm really sorry. I can't. It's not like you're doing that. You can come
Right.
back too.
Right.
And so it's just like, let's just, and this is for certain situations, not all of them, but sometimes it's like, for the both of us, let's just stop. And I don't know, I've had a lot of toxic situations where it's like maybe intellectually we want to be there, but it's like here for whatever reason, even if I understand the reason and I think it's a good reason, we can't do it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, tonight has been very eye-opening.
Oh.
Stay on after we go off if you don't mind. But can you tell everybody where they can find you
Yeah,
and talk about your podcast?
absolutely. I'm available on all podcasting platforms like Spotify, Google, Apple. I'm trying to think of the other ones.
Is it?
Anchor.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of anymore, but most of them, all of them. iHeartRadio, Dark
Right.
Sugar Podcast on Instagram, Dark Sugar Pod on Twitter, Dark Sugar Podcast on Facebook. Um, I'm recently joined the Wisdom app. I am a mentor on the Wisdom app.
Oh, can you explain that?
It
Hey,
is,
your favorite pharmacist.
hello. It's this new launch app where it's people are contracted in to speak on certain topics like live podcasting. It just launched about a month ago.
Oh,
I started doing mentoring on there, just little dibble dabbling. But if you want to look that up, it's called Wisdom app on Apple and for Android on Google, I think.
okay.
But yeah, my podcast is, I really just call it a platform with a podcast because, podcast, it was the base, but I feel like it's just becoming a bigger almost movement platform where I talk about everything Black. I really try to hit all aspects, even aspects that trigger me that I need to unpack and work on. I don't throw shit on the table that I'm 100% on. I'll put topics out that's like, hey, I don't really know everything, but let's just stir the pot and get going because this is something that we need to talk about. Um, and I'm really open. I'm
Yes, you are. I
yeah,
love your transparency.
thank
Oh,
you. I'm just really learning and growing, and I feel like, even me, people just don't understand how even for me this podcast and this platform is so helpful. Even us just talking tonight just helped me and enriched me so much. So when I say it's a platform for us, like it just really is, truly.
oh, I love it. I love it. Oh, guess what? Dark Sugar. You are a Black girl that has her shift together.
Oh, girl, I like that. Oh, okay, I like that. I like that. I was about to say like that. I meant to tell you that's catchy as hell. Like when
Well, I had to get my shit together.
for sure.
For real, for real. It was like enough is enough. And anybody can go back on any of my podcasts. I say the same thing because it's the truth. I had to get my shit together. I was having the same cycles. And now that I'm talking, I was
Ooh,
a contributor to continuing the generational trauma.
can I grab my charger really quick? I'm so sorry.
Oh, no worries. We're about finished. Yeah,
Okay.
go ahead and grab it. Go ahead and grab it.
Phone's about to die. 1 second.
So while Dark Sugar gets her shift together, I definitely want you all to definitely check out my website, blackgirlsgettingneirshifttogether.com. I have coaching packages as well as digital products and merch. And also check out the audio podcast. Just like she said, it's on all streaming podcasts. You just type in Black Girls Getting Their Shift Together. Make sure and visit my Instagram page. All my social media is on there. Are your battery packed up now? Hey. So what days do you drop your audio podcast?
I don't have a strict schedule. I know that's like
Okay.
podcasting rule number 1, but I post about 2 episodes a month. And I
Nice.
do about 2 big topics a month as well. So like I said, I was way more strict. This is about my 3rd year on my podcast and how things are kind of shifting and maneuvering, I definitely still want the podcast to be the main part, but I have like lessened my release of the two. Just because sometimes the topics, it takes like weeks for me to, I'm doing research, I'm talking, we're doing collabs, and sometimes I don't want like, I want to post this, not necessarily me talking all the time, you know?
Right. It takes a lot into putting a podcast together. I don't think people realize it as much.
Yeah.
But
I had to be honest with myself. Yeah, 2 a month is about solid for me.
All right. Well, since no one, if anyone had any questions, you just come on and type them in. If not, definitely go ahead and visit our social medias. And did you want to any parting words, Dark Sugar?
Just give yourself grace and really notice where you aren't and try to extend it to other people as well. We just need so much grace, especially for us. We're in a world where we're constantly being overworked, we're tired, we're being triggered, we're stressed. Give yourself grace, count your blessings. I know it's hard sometimes, but you know, that's just my parting thing.
I love it. You all have a great evening and make sure and tune in next Wednesday and have a good evening. Bye.
For the queen, sisters manifesting their dreams. Get your cream by any means and beam with self-esteem. Beauty supreme and booty walk so mean. The way you fit in them jeans, you eat your cornbread and greens. Dance or a doctor, red wine or vodka. Redesign your spot and redefine your mantra. Retwist your locks and realign your chakras. Doing your squats and getting closer to God, huh? Brunching with your squad or taking a girl's trip. Adjust your crown, you God's gift to the world, sis. Celestial body, drink your water. Meditate, sin kiss goddess, heavenly order. Levitate, tribe of Ashanti, black girl magic, melanin popping, whether you ratchet or lavish, whether you bougie savage, you a gift and a treasure. You got to love a black girl getting a shift together. Black girls are getting a shift together. These black girls getting a shift together, man. These black girls are getting a shift together. These black girls getting a shift together, dog. When God made you, boo, you know he showed out. Mahogany enchantress, blessings overflow now. Picture of success, seductive silhouette.